me again. I hope you had fun last week. Hopefully you've got lots of mini zines. Excited about that. Excited to see what you guys have been up to. This week we're going to be exploring outside, which I'm quite excited about because, as I said last week, I love exploring. I love going outside and doing stuff. So we're going to be making a handmade journal first. So you guys should have some cork inside your boxes. So there's some cork, there's some other materials. So I'll show you guys what you need for this bit first, because we're going to do the making bit first this week, and then we're going to go outside. So hold tight and let's get going. Hello guys. So I've laid out some materials here on the table, and this is the stuff that we'll need. So you guys should have some of this that's been pre-cut. So I've got this here, and this elastic as well, and you've got some pre-cut stuff for this. So I'm just going to put that off to the side a second. Then you should have a piece of cork. Now your piece of cork has already got some holes in it, so I've put a hole here, I've put a hole here, and I've put a hole there. But I'm just going to put mine in now, just to show you guys how easy it is, just in case you ever want to make one of these again. So that's just a cut piece of cork. You can do this with leather. That's how I started doing it. Then it wants to be around here, and another about there. I'm just doing this by eye because I've done this quite a lot of times. So if you can see, I've got 3 holes now. I've got one there, one here, and one there. So I'm just going to put that off to the side for a second with those bits, and then I'm going to take these. Oh, you won't need a craft knife. That's just there. What we will need is some scissors though. So you might need an adult for this part. So what we're going to do first is we're going to take our bone folder and our sheet of paper, and I'm going to fold it in half like this. So then we're going to fold it in half again. And we've got 8 rectangles altogether. But then what we're going to do is we're going to fold this into the centre here. So then we've got 8 smaller rectangles and 4 larger ones, and we're going to repeat the process on the other side of the paper. So we should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 along the top and 8 along the bottom. So then what we're going to do is, just for the camera purposes, for ease, I'm going to cut this with the craft knife. But you guys could do this with scissors. I'm just going to do it so that I can show you really easily on the camera. So just take it, when you're cutting with the scissors, just take your time so you get a nice long straight cut. So I'll put that over to the side. But again, as I say, just use scissors for that part. Then what we're going to do, we should have now 2 things with 8 on them. So we're going to fold this into a concertina. So if I show you from the side. So we'll go like this to the side, and we'll do that with both pieces of paper. So we should now have 2 concertinas. So then we've got our concertina. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take this first folded bit and we're going to fold it over like I'll show you. So that's, and then this bit here is like that. So it's folding over the fold basically. So I'll show you. So then our full front will look like this. Yeah. So after this part, we're going to fold that over like that. We're going to take our next fold and fold that here. So again, our folds are the folded paper like that. Then we fold that over. So it looks like this.
We're going to repeat the process again on the last page.
So then I'll show you what this looks like from all angles, just in case it goes a bit. So our back, on the back it should be nice and flat like this, and on the front, flaps folded down. So then we're going to repeat this with the other one. So again, it's this one. So we fold. So we've got flappy bit there, and then we're going to be folding it here. Then again, so we've got two of these. So what we're going to do is take this and fold that inside, so it goes like this. So I'll show you again. It's a little bit fiddly. There. So now our thing is all inside, and we're going to repeat that on the inside as well. So it should look like this now. And we'll turn it round. Again, we're basically just pushing this inside of itself. So it can be a little bit fiddly with your creases. But I'll just show you. So that's what we're aiming for it to look like that. So again, there we go. So this is what it should look like afterwards. So this is our before, and this is our after. So we're now going to repeat the process on the other piece. So that's that one. So we're going to repeat that on here, fold it in. So then we've got two pieces like this. So this is what it should look like afterwards. Now what we're going to do is we're going to loop the first one, just the one, over the top. Of this one, so it all joins together. You see, so I'll show that again. So we're just going to put it over the top. That just creases over there and then makes it into one. So now we're going to take one of our book covers that we should have in our little packs where you got from last week, and we're going to fold this over just like we did last week. Stick that there. So we've just got that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this and we're going to fold it in half. Now it might be a little bit tricky, but can you see what I've done there? So I've just folded that in half over. So what we'll do is we'll take about half, so you should have 4 on one side and 3 on the other, and we're just going to fold that over there. So can you see what we've got here? So it should look like this. So now we've got our glue dots. So you guys will have these in the post. I'll have sent you these in the post. Then we're going to take a glue dot off. These are really sticky. And then we're just going to stick a glue dot on there like this. Then we're going to take another one. And stick that there. So then we've got 2 glue dots here. And we're going to put this slightly in. So then we want to press down. So that it should look like this. Then we're going to take 2 more glue dots, stick them on this side. Actually, what we'll do as well, we'll put another glue dot on the bottom. There, to stick that down. So then we've got this. Then we'll take another glue dot, pop that on there. And then we'll just close our book, push down, and then we've got a lovely little concertina book. So the idea of this is, I'll take some photographs that I've taken before, and then the photographs will slide inside of here, like this. And stay inside the book. So this is good for carrying your prints and stuff around while you're out and about with you. So what we're going to do now is we'll put this off to the side and then we'll start making our journal. So let's pop this off to the side and then we'll start making our journal. Okay, so we've got our little book over here. And then we've got our piece of cork. Now what we're going to do is we're going to flip this over, and then we're going to take our book and we're going to thread this piece straight through the middle there. Can we see that's come out the other side? So we should be able to do this with it. So then what we're going to do is we are going to thread this through here. So can we see that's come out that side? Then we're going to thread this one through that side. Then we're going to pull our journal into the middle. And then we're going to tie a knot. Oh, I'm just going to shuffle. Try not to knock the camera here, so we're just going to tie it over and do a double knot. And it will tighten, and then you can tie a little loop in it if you'd like. It's good to keep, because you can take this book out and put another book inside of it. So I always like to keep this nice and long so that I can do that if I like to.
Then we just tie that.
And then we're going to tie another double loop. So then we've got our big loop here, and it's holding in the middle. So then this is what we should have at the moment. So we've got this and that. You can also, if you want to, thread it so that your knot is inside the middle there. But I wanted to show, so you could just tie it off to the side here and thread that through into the middle so it's out the way. But I just wanted to show you how you can do it this way, because that's the easiest way to do it really. It's a bit more fiddly the other way, but you can do it. So we've now got, so you guys will have a bit of this. So what we're going to, I'm just going to trim some off here. And what I'm going to do is thread this inside, and then we're going to tie a double knot there again. So we've got a little double knot so that it won't come through the hole. Can we see? So then we're going to take this and wrap it round our journal as many times as it'll go, and then we should have a little charm inside of our box as well. So then that, I've made this a little bit too long actually, but I'll thread this on. I'm just going to see. So I want that to be able to tuck underneath here. So I'm just going to take off a little bit of that. And again, tie another double knot. On here, and take off that little bit extra. Oh, so this is a bit loose, so what I'm going to do is just pull it around and then tuck this underneath. Now that'll help just keep it closed. So then we've got our little journal. our little journal, which is quite exciting. I'm going to pop this in my top pocket here. I've got my jacket on ready to go out. I've got my camera too, that's going in another pocket. So this week we're going to be exploring outside, and I think a nice way to go outside and explore is to look for shapes in things. So it's a way of seeing things that you might not usually see. So if I say to you, go and find 10 circles, then you'll find a few immediate circles, but then you'll look around and you'll be looking and exploring and seeing things that you might not usually see, which I think is a really interesting way of doing things. So I want to set you a brief of looking for circles, looking for squares, look for a triangle. So I think it's really important to have a play around and to have a look and keep your eyes open for things. So let's get ready. I'll put my jacket on. Let's go for a walk. Hello again, guys. Oh, it's a bit windy out there, a bit windswept. So I'm going to show you. I've got my little thing here full of photographs. So I'm going to get back to the studio and I'm going to show you guys what I've been up to. Sorry I couldn't show you outside this week, but I've been for a few walks and it's just so windy the last couple of days. But next week we're going to be outside more anyway, because we're going to be doing cyanotype, which is really exciting. So I'll head back to the studio and I'll show you guys what I've been up to. So see you in a sec. Hello. So I've got my little book here. This was really helpful for keeping everything, especially in the windy conditions. I had to keep it all concealed in there, so that was quite good. So I'll show you guys some of the photographs that I've taken. So I went for a few different walks, and that was because the weather kept changing. So I've been out a few times over the last couple of days, but I was looking for interesting shapes, and this is full of interesting shapes. My studio is quite close to the dinosaur park in Middlesbrough, so these sculptures are all around and they've all been painted like really nice colours, so I thought that was quite a nice one to get. I'm also quite close to the river and there's a lot of industry around here, and I thought these were really interesting shapes. So as I say, we've been looking for interesting shapes, so if you guys can find anything when you're out and about looking for shapes, it's more about the shapes and looking and just being mindful of what you're looking for and looking around really. This is a sculpture that's quite close by. It's right next to the Riverside Stadium, and yeah, I just thought that came out really nicely. It showed. This is along the river in Stockton, and this is a little door. I'm not entirely sure what this door is for, but I found it really interesting. It's a really interesting shape, and again another one along the river in Stockton. So this is where I started to explore shadows. So in photography, shadows are really quite interesting to look at. I sometimes find the shadow of something more interesting than the actual thing itself. But can you see how that's come out really nicely? So keep that in mind when you're out looking for things as well, because I think shadows are really, really interesting. Another one, this is a bench, but this has got a really interesting shadow as well. So this is where it starts to become more artistic to look for things. So if you're looking for the shadows of things rather than the objects themselves, and that's a lot more interesting than a picture of that bench would be. But this, I just found that really, really interesting to look at. Here's another shadow. This is of a railing in a churchyard, and then it reflected really nicely on the floor, and I really liked that. This is the Georgian yard, another attempt at some shadows. I don't know if you can see the sign very well there, but yeah. I also got an alternative self-portrait of myself by taking a picture of my shadow in amongst all of the trees, which I thought was quite interesting. Here's some more shapes. So this, I never really noticed this sign. This is something that's outside of my studio, and it's got a circle and a triangle in it, so I just found that really interesting to take a photograph of, and because it's when you go out and you start to notice these things that you might take for granted usually, which I found that really. Another little dinosaur, which is full of interesting shapes as well. So I was looking for shapes and this was just full of them. This is a close-up picture of a bench and it's got some really interesting silhouettes on it. And then this, I love signposts, and this signpost is a really interesting shape. So it was getting quite late then. This was a couple of nights ago, and I went out to take photographs, and it was really sunny when I went out, but then it just, as soon as I got out of the car, like the sun went away and it got really windy. So it's just been really, really windy the last few days. So yeah, they're just a few of the examples that I've taken. But go around, explore, take some photographs, and see if you can see any interesting shapes. So, as I said, these are things that you might not like. This is on a bench, so you might not actually notice these things sometimes, or shadows on the floor. I just find those really interesting. So I'll stop now. I'll start getting prepared for making the other zine, and then we'll move forward. So I've made my little zine and I've called it Exploring Teesside. And on the back I've put an artist book by Paul Theo Murray. Now obviously I've left some photographs and stuff here, so a lot of these ones were landscape, so I decided I could make another little book with these ones. But I've given everything a little bit of a name this time. Just imagine we're in an art gallery, so I've called this the Shadow Hunter, I've called this Silhouettes, Which Way, The Bench, very inventive, Disappearing. I really like the way this one is disappearing behind the clouds, you can see it, Circles and Triangles, and then the thing. So it would be nice to see if you guys could come up with some interesting names for some of your shots. But yeah, so I've got my little zine and my little journal, and I'm just going to pop those down there. So this week, that's what we're going to be exploring. So we're going to make our little journals and then go for a walk outside, multiple walks if you have to, like I do this week, and then take some photographs. I know you guys are limited with the amount of shots you've got. I was too. So just be mindful of the things that you're taking photographs of. You can always come back to them, or remember, you don't have to have film in your camera. You've got the SD card, so you can print those out or put them into a computer or whatever. So yeah, just have fun with it. Go outside, explore. Remember to be careful if it is windy or if there's any extreme weather or anything this week. Just be really careful when you're out and about, and be mindful of other people when you're outside, and social distancing, and just being careful. An interesting place that I would say, but I would take an adult with you if you're going to go, is an interesting place to go is a graveyard. There's lots of shapes there, there's lots of things to photograph. Obviously be respectful of the place, but it's also normally very quiet there, and also a lot of photographers start by exploring these places because they are really quiet and they're really peaceful and nice. So that's a good place to start if you're stuck for somewhere to go for a walk. But remember, take an adult with you if you're going to be going to anywhere that's isolated or anything. So just be careful of other people, but have fun with it, and I really look forward to seeing all of the work. Next week I'll show you how to photograph it and submit it to us, but next week we're going to be exploring cyanotype, which is really exciting. So I love cyanotype. So have fun this week, and I'll speak to you again next week. See you later. Bye.